Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again by Johann. Key takeaways. Number 1. Our attention is under assault from multiple fronts in modern society. We have profoundly misunderstood what is actually happening to our attention. Information overload. We are bombarded with an unprecedented volume of information and stimuli in the digital age. In 1986, the average person was exposed to the equivalent of 40 newspapers worth of information daily. By 2007, this had increased to 174 newspapers. This constant influx overwhelms our cognitive capacities and fragments our attention. Constant connectivity. The ubiquity of smartphones and always-on internet access means we are perpetually tethered to a stream of notifications, messages, and content. This creates a state of continuous partial attention where we're never fully focused on any one task. Average person touches their phone 2,617 times per day. 90% of Americans look at a glowing electronic device in the hour before bed. Attention economy. Many businesses now compete for our limited attention as a primary resource. This has led to increasingly sophisticated techniques to capture and retain our focus, often at the expense of our well-being and cognitive abilities. Number 2. Technology companies deliberately design products to hijack our focus. We are that server, and there's all these things trying to grab our attention by throwing information at us. It undermines our capacity for responding to anything. It leaves us in a state of either distraction or paralysis. Surveillance capitalism. Tech companies collect vast amounts of data on users to create detailed psychological profiles. This information is then used to target content and advertising in ways specifically designed to capture attention and influence behavior. Addictive design. Apps and websites incorporate features deliberately chosen to create compulsive use patterns, infinite scroll, variable reward schedules like slot machines, autoplay features, gamification elements. Exploiting psychology. Products are engineered to take advantage of human cognitive biases and vulnerabilities. Fear of missing out, social validation, negativity bias. We pay more attention to negative information. Number 3. The rise of stress and hypervigilance is eroding our ability to concentrate. Hypervigilance is essentially when you're looking out for the bear around every corner. Your attention is focused on cues for potential danger, as opposed to being present with what's going on, or the lesson you're supposed to be learning, or doing the work you were supposed to be doing. Chronic stress. Modern life is filled with ongoing stressors that keep us in a state of heightened alertness. This constant activation of our threat response systems makes it difficult to focus on non-urgent tasks or engage in deep thinking. Financial insecurity, economic instability, and the erosion of the middle class contribute significantly to stress levels. Studies show that financial worries can lower IQ by up to 13 points due to the cognitive load of constant concern. Information anxiety. The 24/7 news cycle and social media expose us to a constant stream of often negative information about global events. This can create a sense of ongoing crisis, even when our immediate environment is safe. Number 4. Our diet and environment are damaging our cognitive abilities. To have a good life, it is not enough to remove what is wrong with it. We also need a positive goal. Otherwise, why keep going? Processed food. The shift to highly processed, nutrient-poor diets has significant cognitive consequences. Rapid blood sugar spikes and crashes impair focus. Lack of essential nutrients for brain health. Additives and dyes linked to hyperactivity. Environmental toxins. Increased exposure to pollutants and chemicals affects brain development and function. Air pollution linked to cognitive decline and ADHD. Endocrine disruptors in plastics and other products interfere with hormones crucial for brain development. Legacy contaminants like lead continue to impact communities. Sedentary lifestyles. Lack of physical activity negatively impacts cognitive function. Exercise shown to improve attention and focus. Movement crucial for children's cognitive development. Number 5. Modern lifestyles have disrupted natural sleep patterns, impairing attention. If you're not sleeping well, your body interprets that as an emergency. Sleep deprivation epidemic. 40% of Americans are chronically sleep deprived, getting less than the necessary 7 hours per night. This has severe consequences for cognitive function. Attention spans shrink. Memory consolidation is impaired. Emotional regulation becomes more difficult. Circadian rhythm disruption. Artificial lighting and screen use disrupt our natural sleep-wake cycles. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin production. Constant connectivity makes it harder to wind down. Sleep quality. Even when people do sleep, the quality is often poor due to stress, environmental factors, and sleep disorders. This prevents the critical brain maintenance that occurs during deep sleep. Number 6. Reading and deep engagement with ideas is declining rapidly. We're not talking 1 or 2 kids. There were a lot of kids like that. Decline in book reading. The proportion of Americans who read for pleasure is at its lowest recorded level. 40% drop in men reading for pleasure between 2004 to 2017. 29% drop for women in the same period. 57% of Americans do not read a single book in a typical year. Shift in reading habits. When people do read, it's increasingly in a fragmented, surface-level way. Skimming and scanning replace deep reading. Difficulty sustaining attention for longer texts. Consequences. This decline in deep reading has far-reaching effects. Reduced empathy. Fiction reading linked to increased empathy. Decreased ability to engage with complex ideas. Loss of shared cultural touchstones. Number 7. Mind wandering is a crucial cognitive process we're losing. If you couldn't do it, so many other things would go out of the window. Creative problem solving. Mind wandering allows the brain to make novel connections and approach problems from new angles. Many scientific and creative breakthroughs occur during periods of unfocused thought. Future planning. When our minds wander, we engage in mental time travel, imagining potential futures and preparing for upcoming events. This is crucial for goal setting and decision making. Self-reflection. Unstructured thinking time allows us to process experiences, form a coherent sense of self, and make meaning from our lives. Constant stimulation. The ubiquity of smartphones and other devices means we rarely experience true boredom or unstructured time. This constant engagement prevents the valuable cognitive processes that occur during mind wandering. Number 8. Childhood play and exploration are being restricted, hindering development. We're not getting that chance to develop these skills because you're in a car being driven to a game where somebody tells you what position you're playing and when to catch the ball and when it's your time to hit and who's bringing the snack, and you can't bring grapes because they have to be cut into quarters, and it's your mom's job to do that. Decline in free play. Children today have far less unstructured, unsupervised playtime. Only 10% of American children play outside regularly. Increased emphasis on structured activities and academic preparation. Consequences. The loss of free play has significant developmental impacts. Reduced creativity and problem-solving skills. Difficulty with social interaction and conflict resolution. Less physical activity, impacting cognitive development. Overprotection. Fear of stranger danger and liability concerns have led to excessive restrictions on children's independence. Unable to develop risk assessment skills. Reduced opportunities for building confidence and resilience. Number 9. Education systems often work against natural learning and attention. There's the old metaphor that villagers are at the river one day, and they notice a dead body come floating down the river. So they do the right thing. They take it out and they give it an appropriate burial. The next day, two bodies come down the river, and they do the appropriate thing and they bury the bodies. This goes on for a while. Yeah. And finally, they start to wonder, I wonder where these bodies are coming down the river from, and if we should do something to stop that. Standardized testing focus. The emphasis on high-stakes testing has led to reduced time for play, creativity, and exploration, increased stress and anxiety in students, teaching to the test rather than fostering genuine understanding. Misalignment with cognitive development. Many educational practices don't account for how children naturally learn. Long periods of sitting still, contrary to children's need for movement. Emphasis on rote memorization over conceptual understanding. Limited opportunities for self-directed learning. Alternative models. Some schools are experimenting with approaches more aligned with cognitive science, project-based learning, increased emphasis on social-emotional development, integration of movement and nature into the curriculum. Number 10. Individual changes can help, but systemic reforms are necessary. You can try having self-control, but there are 1,000 engineers on the other side of the screen working against you. Personal strategies. Individuals can take steps to protect their attention. Digital detoxes and screen time limits, mindfulness and meditation practices, creating device-free spaces and times. Limitations of individual action. While personal changes are valuable, they're often insufficient against larger systemic forces. Addictive design of technology. Work cultures that demand constant connectivity. Economic pressures that increase stress and reduce sleep. Necessary reforms. Addressing the attention crisis requires broader societal changes, regulation of manipulative tech practices, workplace policies that respect work-life balance, urban design that promotes movement and nature connection. Number 11. An attention rebellion is needed to reclaim our focus and agency. We must focus together or face the fires alone. Collective action. Just as past movements have fought for labor rights or environmental protections, we need a coordinated effort to protect our cognitive resources. Public education about the value of attention, advocacy for tech regulation and reform, support for research into attention and cognitive health. Reframing the issue. We must shift from seeing attention problems as individual failings to recognizing them as a public health crisis. Attention as a collective resource, not just a personal one. Link between attention crisis and other social issues, democracy, climate change. Cultural shift. Ultimately, addressing the attention crisis requires reimagining our relationship with technology, work, and each other, valuing depth over speed and quantity, recognizing the importance of rest and reflection, building communities and systems that support human flourishing, not just economic growth.